Thank you very much, Chloe, as we continue here on Notre Dame Day. And joining us now is Father Joe Corpora, a 1976 graduate of Notre Dame and the Associate Director of Education and Outreach for the Transformational Leaders Program, or TLP, here at the university. This program is a wonderful source of support for differently prepared students on campus. And Father Corpora is here to tell us all about it. Father Joe, thanks for joining us here on Notre Dame Day. Welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot, and thank you for having me.
All right.
Yeah, so TLP is a brand new initiative in its second year. This is really first year with the staff. Last year it was an idea run by one person. Anyway, what TLP is hoping to do is to accompany, as you said, differently prepared students, most of whom are first-generation low-income students, to accompany them in their journey through Notre Dame. Notre Dame is often a difficult place to navigate, and this is another set of eyes helping people. We think of ourselves as the intersection of academic life and the pastoral life, and we come to know the students, I think, fairly well.
All right, let's go back in time a little bit and tell us more about your time here as a student at Notre Dame and how that inspired you to join the priesthood.
Yeah, I was a student here 50 years ago this fall. It's a long time ago, Eamon. And I didn't really come with the idea of being a priest, but I live in the dorms, and there's priests in the dorms, and I began to know them as people. And I thought, well, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. And so that's what happened. 39 years ago, I became a priest. So I was a regular kid, did everything at Notre Dame has to offer, and then entered the priesthood after that.
Now, you gave us an overview of TLP, and that's something new now that Notre Dame has to offer. You mentioned it's 2 years old. Tell us more of the genesis of how the school and you came up with the program.
I think the genesis is that Notre Dame has been trying for 25 years to take low-income first-generation students, and has done a pretty admirable, maybe not 25, maybe 20, anyway, has done a really admirable job of it, but providing computers and winter coats and winter boots and that kind of stuff is totally great. But you realize sooner or later that if students need help in calculus or in biochemistry or in organic chemistry, no amount of hats and boots can do that. So there's a whole other side of assisting students that are differently prepared, and that is academically, not just with material needs. Important, but this is the next level, so to speak, of now, okay, now they're here, now how are we going to work with students and receive the gifts that they bring and help with what they might not have.
All right, I think you led me to my next question. What makes TLP different from student support programs at other schools?
Yeah, I think we have the only program, maybe one other, that's wraparound, which means it includes the academic part. Many schools are now providing this kind of material support, plane trips, clothing for professional, money for professional clothing, that kind of stuff. But I don't think maybe one other school is the only one that's really trying to provide the academic, pastoral support that students might need. So that's how it's different.
Talk to us more about personalized accompaniment and why that's so integral to the long-term success of students.
Well, think of your own life. Whatever success you've had is probably because someone has personally accompanied you along the way. And so that's our job, is to personally accompany students. It's what Pope Francis talks about all the time when he says radical accompaniment, getting to know the person in front of us, walking with the student. And what happens is, when you get to know a kid, it opens the door to discernment, which means real open thinking about what am I doing here, what's going to be my major, what do I want to do with my life. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. It does indeed. And it sounds like a great program that has a lot going on. So what's the future? What's the next step here at Notre Dame for TLP?
I saw that on my list of questions. I wrote, only God knows. But and that's not to push the burden off to God. I think we need a lot of, the next step would be perhaps a wider conversation with the whole university about who these students are, and that they bring gifts too, and that we can receive from their gifts. But it's kind of like when Notre Dame went co-ed 50 years ago. It took about 25 years to sort of become really co-ed, and where women were not just an additive to the university, but a really part of it. I think today, if you walked around here, you would never know there was a time without women, because everything's totally integrated. We have ways to go in that direction, so that diversity doesn't look like an additive, but it's just part of the whole place. That's the next level, Eamon.
Gotcha. Father Joe Corpora, thank you so much for being here on Notre Dame Day. Great spending time with you.
Thank you
Appreciate
for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, we'll be back with more Notre Dame Day right here after this, so keep it here.